Guten Tag, this is Williams, and today we're going to talk about panels and composition design for your comic. One of the elements of comics that is specific to the medium is the design of pages and the panels on those pages. Thinking through how these mechanisms work will make you a better visual storyteller. Not only do we read from left to right, top to bottom, but also across the gutters between the panels and the gutter that runs down the center of the book between the pages. Comics also include the tactility of flipping pages to reveal what is happening on the next panel or spread. While planning out your comic, keep in mind that your even number pages will always be on the left-hand side of the book when it's open, and the odd number pages will always align to the right of the book's gutter. When designing comic pages, most artists start with a grid of 6, 9, 12, or 16 panels. The size of the panels you design influences the pace and the rhythm that your story will be read. Multiple small panels create a beat. When something changes that pace, like an important moment or detailed scene that you would like your reader to spend a bit more time in, you can break that rhythm up with a larger panel. Alternatively, perhaps all of your panels are different sizes and shapes. Your options don't just stop there though. Let's start with a 9-panel grid. Maybe something important happens and I want to combine panels 5 and 6 into one larger panel. Or my pace slows at the bottom and I want to add another small panel. Perhaps something important is happening in panel 3, so the panel becomes bold and overlaps the other panels to pull it forward. And that's just if I want to keep my panels safe on the page with a margin of white paper around them. Pretend the orange lines are the edges of the paper. I can extend panel full bleed to imply the scene continues beyond the edge of the page and panel. I can change the size of gutters between panels to further change the pace, break the grid completely and have panels overlap with drop shadows, and even erase panel borders and have the contents of a panel vignetted on the page. That's just the design of the panels themselves. When designing the content of the comic, maybe I want to start with this little guy carrying a sword, and this other guy with a helmet and a tight panel, another character in the foreground with a spear, a profile looking to the right, and lastly, who knows, a dragon? The way the contents of the panels are compositionally arranged also affects the way we read a page, leading the eye from one panel to another. Comics, film, and animation share some of the same visual language. The extreme far, full, medium, close-up, and extreme close-up shots, as well as camera angles like straight-on, upshot, worm's eye view, downshot, bird's eye view, and framing like over-the-shoulder, overlays, Dutch angle, diagonal, and framing with overlays can be a great way of imagining how to tell your story. At the very least, the way you are showing us the content of your comic will change the way we feel about it. An eyeline that aligns with the character puts us in the scene with them and can be used to communicate everything from a threat to relatability. A high eyeline allows us to look down on a character or scene, usually used to express vulnerability, loneliness, or separate the viewer. And a low eyeline forces our view up, making the subject more powerful or imposing looking. Remember being a kid and everyone was taller than you? The low eyeline is hardwired into all of us. Here are a few more options adapted from Wallywood's 20 panels that always work. The big head, the extreme close-up, back of head with a partial head, dark foreground, light background, open panel with an entire object in it, all black but the highlights, one big object, full figure with an open panel, dark background, light figure, bottom open, small figure in a big panel, gradient optional, depth, the classic downshot with long cast shadow, L-shape, side and top lighting, reflections, silhouettes, in panels or vignetted, framing elements, windows, trees, etc., using 3 stages, foreground, midground, and background, contrast, and lastly using objects like phones, newspapers, or screens to inform the story. There are a ton more of these, but this is a good place to start. Whatever kind of story you're telling, be deliberate about your visual choices. Hope this was helpful. Bye.